end up being an albatross for Verizon. Verizon has gained 20% over the past year compared to AT&T's meager 5% gain, and part of that was due to people thinking, hey, Verizon's going to get the iPhone. This was the iPhone buildup. But is Verizon taking on too much risk with the iPhone? We wanted to ask three important questions about the risks of Verizon taking on the phone. One, how long until you can talk and surf the web and send an email at the same time? Two, will dropped calls spike for Verizon like they did for AT&T? And three, how well will the phone work overseas? Joining us now, Craig Moffett, Bernstein research analyst, and Jonathan Geller, founder of the Boy Genius Report. Geller was named one of the top 100 influential people in tech by T3 Magazine. He's a new face to CNBC. Great to have both of you with us. We appreciate it. Jonathan, since you're new to the show, let me start with you. This issue of not being able to do more than one thing at once, maybe a few years ago this wouldn't have been an issue, but now those of us who have been able to talk on the phone while receiving emails, that's just something I'm not willing to give up.
Absolutely. I mean, multitasking while you're on the phone is so important. And publicly, you know, Apple and AT&T have attacked Verizon in commercials about this. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Craig Moffett, what is your obviously this is Verizon's network as CDMA. You can't do more than one thing at once. But I know it's something they're working on. How soon do you think that they would be able to have the multitask capability?
Well, we don't know. There has been talk for about a year now in CDMA forums that the CDMA network engineers will have a solution ready for Surf and Talk sometime in 2011. We don't know whether we're going to see it tomorrow, and my guess is probably not. But it is the case that AT&T is aggressively selling against it, so it would be a big surprise to AT&T, certainly, if the first generation iPhone on CDMA is able to do it.
And what's your best case estimate, Craig, of when you think it's realistic that Verizon's iPhones could do it?
I'd be surprised if we see it tomorrow. I think if you see it this year, it would probably be in the back part of this year. But again, that's just a guess. We really don't have information. But at least for now, there are no other phones, certainly, that are on the drawing board. And you would expect if they were going to deploy something like that, it would be across their Android phones as well.
Right. And obviously, you can't do it on those Droid phones either. Jonathan Geller, let's start with get to question two now. Dropped calls. Last week, we were talking to Ralph De La Vega, who runs AT&T Wireless, and I asked him if Ivan Seidenberg at Verizon would be very sad when he got the iPhone, and Ralph started laughing. Do you think that Verizon, which has bragged about its great network, is going to have a drop call problem?
In short, no, I don't. I mean, they've had 3+ years to prepare for this. They've desperately wanted the iPhone. They've worked out the terms, and they just had 10 million Droid users just hop onto the network who are consuming more data than AT&T iPhone users. So they've had time to prepare, and their reputation is very, very important. I think they'll be able to manage just fine.
You think that too, Craig? They're ready?
I think they're probably as ready as they can be, but AT&T thought they were ready as well, and it certainly turned out to be a much bigger hit to the AT&T network than they ever anticipated.
I think that is something we all know to be very true. Jonathan, will the phone work overseas? I know that Verizon has, and I'm not a tech person, but now the phones work overseas if you turn some sort of a switch or add some sort of a card. But I'll tell you, when I travel overseas with an AT&T, with producers with the special Verizon Global phones, there's really no comparison yet. How different do you think the service will be for global travelers?
Personally, if it's world compatible, which I'm guessing it would be, there is a SIM slot in leaked photos of the phone that we've seen. I wouldn't, say that there'd be any difference in service. Vodafone is a joint owner in Verizon Wireless. They have great roaming agreements internationally. It should be very, very comparable to AT&T. What's
your view on that, Craig? I mean, maybe it's just ironing it out. I mean, but it certainly hasn't been my experience.
No, I think that's probably right, though. This is a phone that's aimed at the high end of the market, and satisfying the ability to roam overseas is now not the hardest thing to do. So it will require some extra cost in the set because it will require or SIM card, but I do suspect that it will be.
And the user would have to switch it in and out? Would they have to do that themselves, or would it just sort of automatically, when you land, you turn it on, it works?
That's a software question, and I suspect that's probably something that they could address.
All right, final word to you, Jonathan. How easy will it be? You just land and it works overseas, or you have to do something else?
You land, you turn your phone on, and you're off and running.
All right, well, good. That's the way it's got to be to have everyone buying into it. Craig, Jonathan, thanks so much to both of you. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, well.